And welcome back to Music Free Static. I hope you're having a fabulous day. And, I want to talk a little bit about Minecraft. For somebody who plays a heck of a lot of Minecraft, I don't actually talk about it a lot on this podcast. But I've been fascinated here. The last few updates, last two or three, something like that, have included a lot of experiments, which has been sort of interesting. And I don't mean that they added something to the main game that's experimental. They've added a bunch of things behind actual experiment toggles. It's like, if you want to play with this is an experiment. We don't know if it's going to be in the main game. Some of it is targeted for the game. Some of it is we're just trying some things out. But it's kind of fun. And they've got a handful of these right now. They rolled out a villager experiment several months ago, last year, something like that, as a way to explore rebalancing villagers. And I've talked about how much I detest that change, but it's an experiment, okay? Bundles. Bundles have been in the game forever. You couldn't use them, right? Because they removed the crafting recipe, but if you used a data pack to turn it on, or in some cases use there is a bundles experiment or whatever, you could play with bundles. And bundles had been it was an idea, but didn't quite work for Bedrock. And so Mojang didn't want to roll it out to Java if they couldn't put it on Bedrock. And so it kind of languished. Well, now they've rolled out a new experiment that restructures the bundles and it makes some things work on Bedrock. It's had some growing pains, right? Some of their, like the first UI they rolled out a couple of weeks ago had some weirdness to it. Okay, it was just odd. Okay, and that's fine. And I'm not gonna get too much into it. I haven't used them. I don't know. But they've also got experiments for redstone changes. Like they're looking at ways of making redstone more performant, less laggy, and things like that, which I think is a good thing. Redstone you shouldn't be afraid to build a redstone contraption. Okay, and what I mean by that is you shouldn't be afraid of building a redstone, because if you do, you have to spend so much time thinking about, oh, is this going to lag out my server? You should just be able to build the thing. If it's going to lag it out, it's because you've done something intentionally noisy rather than, oh, I've just run some redstone wire here. Okay. Things like that. Okay. And it's interesting to see what they're doing. They're also rolling out an experiment with minecarts, because they're trying to build more late game transportation systems, some things other than Elytra. Okay, Elytra are very fast and they get you where you want to go, but once you have an Elytra, all of the other transportation systems in the game just go away. Right? How many people actually actively ride a horse in Minecraft? Like beyond the first few months, no, maybe the first few Minecraft months or something like that. It's not many. I mean, it's funny that watching the Hermitcraft community over that SMP for the last couple of seasons, like season 8, they started. A lot of them said, "Yeah, I've never ridden a horse in Minecraft. This is weird," right? And coming up even into season 10, which is their current season, a lot of them delayed getting Elytra or trying to use Elytra to get around. Eventually that sort of faded off, and oh yeah, they're all wings all the time. But if you're a player who doesn't want to go to the ends, or just any other reasons, maybe what other options are there? So Mojang is experimenting with minecarts and looking at, okay, what could we do if we made them faster, or doing some other things. And I'm sure what we're seeing in the experiments now is just a little, idea of what they're playing with. Okay, they've already said the redstone experiment. They're starting with some redstone wire changes. Okay, and there's lots of things that can change in Minecraft redstone, but they're starting there. Okay, trying to come up with some ideas, what works, what doesn't, and I'm loving the whole concept. Okay, doesn't matter. So, like the villager thing, I detest that change. I think it's a horrible change. The idea that you have to find certain villagers from certain biomes to get different enchantments and books, and they nerf the books that you can get and all of this stuff, right? I'm not an explorer in Minecraft, and so the fact that I now have to go find villages or create villages, because some of the books are only available from villagers in biomes that don't have villages right now, swamps and jungles. So what do you do, right? And I know what I do. I'd eventually just go do it, and I grumble about it the whole time because it's just busy work for very little gain. Okay, but regardless of my feelings on it, it was really interesting to see the thought process. Because as much as I don't like that change, I would agree villagers are, I don't know, some people say they're overpowered. I'm not entirely sure that's the right word. But in some ways, sure, I guess. Right? Now, I tend to get villagers in Minecraft for a couple of reasons. I get them, one, because it's just so much more convenient to get diamond tools from the toolsmiths. Because I get really bored just mining for diamonds. Okay? That's not my idea of fun. Okay? So, yeah, I'll do it sometimes. And every once in a while, it is kind of nice just to do something a little bit mindless. Put a movie up or listen to a podcast or streams or something and just go, all right, I will just strip mine and find diamonds. On a rare occasion, sure. But typically, I just don't enjoy that. And I have a somewhat limited amount of time that I can play Minecraft because I'm an adult with a job. And I am doing this content creator thing, and about half my time is actually playing Minecraft. The other half of the time is planning or editing videos, or sometimes I also like to just have time where I'm not doing any of that stuff, So, yeah, I have other things to do than strip mine. Let me just buy some tools, and that's why I like to go out and get mending and unbreaking and stuff on my tools, because one, I don't want to have to spend my time getting those tools again. Right? I want to spend my time building and doing redstone things and terraforming and all of this stuff. I don't want to go spend that time grinding out diamonds so I can get a new pickaxe. Okay, it's just not. It's not fun for me. But a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, mending is overpowered." Okay, and I think it all just depends on how you play the game. And having twice now in the last 2 or 3 weeks had to go back and completely rebuild my my equipment because I died in lava twice. It's like, all right, that gets really, really old really, really fast. Okay. So it was just nice to, all right, let me just go to the villager. Let me go buy what I need, get this back up, and get my tools back up to a place where I can use it. Again, partly so I can go back and continue to create content, but I just want to get back to where I was, right? And yeah, theoretically, I could turn on keep inventory, but I don't like keep inventory. I think that removes some of the challenge and for me, some of the fun of Minecraft, survival Minecraft. Okay, but anyway, it was kind of fun just to see. All right, what are they thinking about? How do they nerf villagers in a way that doesn't punish players? Okay, And I think anytime anything gets nerfed, a lot of people are going to feel that. But seeing this in a way that's like, um, what can we make the change that's not just making it more grindy instead of making it more fun and accessible without being, overpowered. Okay. So the redstone changes are interesting, right? Because I said I don't want to have to think about lag when I'm running a redstone wire. All right. I don't. So that's interesting to see. Plus they're making some changes I think they're really, really interesting. Again, the bundles are definitely coming into the game. They've said that. They just need to figure out how to actually do it. And now the new bundle experiment allows them to quickly get feedback and ideas of how does this make sense, and sort of the same thing with minecarts, right? And I've loved the concept of the experiments. Okay, not necessarily anyone in particular, just the whole idea of what they're doing, because it's letting Mojang iterate quickly, right? And then get input early in this process, right? Right, because I think one thing they did the villager change, and they got input. A lot of people, oh yes, we love it. A lot of people like me say, you're punishing me, right? The exploration is not what's fun for me, right? And so a lot of people are letting them know, and I think they've realized, okay, yeah, we've got some different styles of players here, and we've just completely made it worse for these players, and some other things. The redstone changes. Minecraft has a huge technical community, which is, you get a bunch of people who just focus on redstone, or maybe just find redstone fun. And that, like me, I love doing stuff in redstone. I like that technical stuff. Sure, I like to build and do other things, but I like farming. And I like building redstone contraptions that help me get resources, sometimes sort of passively, right? Because I've talked about, I think certainly on the stream, if not here on the podcast, it's a point of, I don't enjoy creative Minecraft, right? I don't like playing in creative. Oh, sure, if I'm working out a redstone thing, yeah, sure, I'll go into creative and do that. That's fine. But I don't like playing in creative. I don't like building and designing things in creative that much. It just isn't as fun for me. Even if I'm building the exact same type of structure in survival, I have a lot more fun doing it in survival. And I'm not entirely sure why, but it is, okay? But that community is really sensitive to changes. And it's not to say Mojang hasn't broken redstone in some way before. They certainly have. I wasn't as involved with the technical side of things but the first few years, I just kind of blew off redstone. I had no idea how to use it. It's like I had no idea what even generated redstone signals. That was an aspect of the game I just actively ignored. was until a few years later when I realized, oh, this is actually really fun. I can do some cool things with this. So yeah, it's fascinating to see that type of thing, right? And what I find fascinating is that here's Mojang being extraordinarily open with their development process, right? Here's a game. It's what, 15 years old now. It's still one actively developed, actively played, and it's a game that is evolving, and I think it's been getting better. But I love that Mojang isn't just plop, here's a new feature, have a nice day, right? No, they're putting all of their maybe their development isn't open, but because it's not an open source app, sort of. But they're pushing a lot of the stuff out through snapshots and and ways that people can actually see what's going on before it makes it into the game as a actually released feature. And that is awesome. I say it's not open source. It's not. Just like any compiled application, you can run it through a decompiler, which works. I mean, the code is there, but usually that's unreadable. The code is just not great. It has to make up variable names and do some weird things. But Mojang has also published their symbol table so that you can actually decompile and get readable code, which is really fascinating. Just from a game developer, game company standard or perspective, that is just crazy. Now, you're certainly not seeing that in Call of Duty or the GTA 5. Rockstar is not going out there and say, hey, here's how you decompile GTA 5, right? They're not doing that. But Mojang does, and this has been a thing for a long time. It's just baked into Minecraft culture. And so I think the experiments has been, I think, a next evolution of that. It's like, sure, they'll have snapshots and that are bug fixes, and oh yeah, we've got some new features that are coming. Eventually the bundle will drop in as this is a full-on game feature. It's not an experiment anymore. This is actually a feature. Now let's sort of start really diving into the betas. The experiments fall very much into sort of alpha testing in some ways. It's like, here's some things we're thinking about, but we don't know everything. So let's talk, right? Because it can be very easy to say, this is the way I play Minecraft, and forget that other people play Minecraft in different ways. Okay? And, I understand that. I'm not an explorer. I don't like to go exploring in Minecraft. But a lot of the people I play with and communities I've been in, people say, oh, I just love exploring. I love seeing the new vistas. I like finding new things. That's their jam. And more power to them, man. I'm glad they get to play that way. And obviously there are technical players that will fire up and we are in a creative world and we are going to build this giant contraption that gives us 1 million of something an hour. Awesome, right? It's been really fun seeing some of the new things that are coming out because of changes that came with the Tricky Trials update. Yes, we got cool things like the crafter and stuff like that, but seeing some of the technical players get a hold of these potions that you think, why would anybody want a potion of infestation? Why would you want a potion that generates silverfish? And sure enough, I've seen a couple of people, Doc M77, Tango Tech, who have taken that to a way that was crazy. Okay, one, it's potentially a quick and easy mob or XP farm. The silverfish aren't bad for XP; they're just a pain in the neck to deal with. But if you can farm them correctly, yeah, not too bad, I suppose. Tango used it to build a skulk farm. Because often what you'll do with skulk farms is you'll go out to the end, you'll build an ender and use that. Okay? That's fine. But the problem he was running into is, hey, it's slow because you're building with stone generation, and stone generators are a little finicky at times. What if I could build it in the nether, use a basalt generator, which is very fast, and if I splash allays with infestation potions and then damage allays, because allays heal. They heal at what was it, 2 HP per game tick. If I I think he suffocates them, which is 1 HP per game tick. But you can do it with a Wither Rose, or you can any number of things that, yeah, it's sure, does it hurt the LA? Yes, but they heal faster than it hurts them. So the LAs aren't going to die. But every time they get hurt, it generates potentially more silverfish. So Tango's now raining silverfish down on his basalt platform to generate Skulk. That's really cool. And he's taking the same concept, the idea that he can generate silverfish, and putting it into a game. Right? This is cool. These are things that I'm not entirely sure the Mojang team was thinking about at the time, but it's really cool seeing these types of things come out. The idea that, hey, maybe I don't want to build a slime farm in the dig out a big hole, let the slime generate, and go get killed by an iron golem. What if I use this oozing potion, combine it with, well, it's one more layer to that silverfish thing, actually, in some ways. It's you generate the silverfish, splash them with this. When they die, it generates slime. Boom. Now the slime, same thing, iron golem could kill them, or you can do other things. But it's like, here's an entirely different way of getting slime. Or cobwebs. Now, cobwebs are really useful. One, they're great decorations if you want sort of a spooky or run down or abandoned type build. But they're also great from a redstone perspective. Prior to powdered snow, cobwebs were about the only way you could get of ensuring if you drop something out of a dropper, it could drop straight down to exactly the square or the block below where the dropper is. Okay, because droppers have some randomness in which direction they spew out the items, right? You either have to build a big column to keep everything straight, or you had to put a cobweb under it. And yes, it took whatever item you dropped a second or two to get through the cobwebs. But one, it gave items a chance to stack up. So you got a bunch of things that came through the cobweb, and they fell straight, which was great. So if you were building like a gold farm, you could have your collection system on the bedrock ceiling, and then your thing way up in the sky. Okay. Well, you can do that now with powdered snow, but cobwebs still have a lot of those types of features, which are great. And said if you want to build with them, well, now you're having to go raid, try to find mine shafts and hope that there's enough cobwebs there to do what you want, right? But it's fun to see these types of things show up in game and see how they get used and abused by the community. All right, that side of it doesn't matter, even if it just drops, is really cool. But the fact that Mojang has been playing with these and said some of these things, they're never going to make it into the game, right? The villager experiment they've got going on, they may just end that experiment. They may not make any changes. Or the changes that they're in that experiment may just go, yeah, this was the wrong approach. We'll try something else. Okay, cool. The minecart or the redstone changes are like, okay, we're not ready to put this in the game yet. We're not even ready to start thinking about putting this in the game yet. This is just a chance for us to start thinking about what are the effects? What does this do to existing contraptions? And are we okay if they break, right? Is the benefit greater than the loss, right? Are the pros better than the cons? And then maybe they're just a little bit better. Maybe they don't make the change. Maybe they're a lot better. I said, yeah, we're going to break a lot of things, but we're okay with that because this is just that much better. But because they've done it in an experiment like this, they're able to get all this feedback from the technical community in that case of, hey, this is cool. let's do this, right? So I'm really liking this move. That combined with a lot of the data pack changes. Now, I'm not a mod developer, and I know this has been wreaking havoc with some of the mod developers of the way they've been restructuring the NBT tags behind the scenes. Okay. I know that's a hassle for them right now. Based on what I've seen, I've said, well, I'm not a mod developer, I am a programmer. And from what I've been seeing, this looks like what they're building is a more consistent framework for being able to add things to Minecraft without having to do necessarily a full mod, right? The idea that, hey, we can add custom sounds to goat horns or add your own custom paintings with a simple data pack that just says, oh yeah, I have custom paintings 87 through 94, and they point to this different metadata. Or, you know, this resource pack will now give you this big smiley face or whatever that you're uploading in to have a painting, right? Or hey, I've imported it now. Here's a pixel art painting of my family that I want in the game. They're making it significantly easier to do stuff like that. And that's awesome, right? Aside the fact they're doing it with goat horns and music discs, and they're building out a more consistent tag system, I think is really good long term. One, I think it helps the Minecraft developers as they continue to grow. As often happens, you start with one system. Okay, this is great, it works, but we're outgrowing it. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing is the growing pains of, it's time to cut the technical debt. This worked for a long time. It's time to build something that's going to work for us going forward for the next 15 years. And I love it. Okay. I think this is all very good and very healthy. But I'm especially loving what I'm seeing. Not necessarily from the content. Like I said, I despise the villager trade. I am totally indifferent on bundles, but could be won over by those. But I'm loving just the idea of, yeah, we're experimenting with this. Help us out. Does this make sense? Are we on the right track? Are we just totally out of left field? Right. Let's work with us. And this, I think, from a game developer to the community at large is almost unprecedented. And I think it is great. I think this is amazing. So I'm a big shout out to Mojang for that. I'm thrilled. Let me know what you think. Again, not even necessarily about the specific experiments, but what do you think about the fact that the experiments exist at all? Let me know. Drop a comment, or come chat in the Discord and let me know what you think. Because one, I like to hear your opinions, but that's the whole point behind these experiments is let's come together and experiment and explore and grow this together. And until next time, be excellent to each other. This is Music Free Static signing off.